All right, let's talk picky eaters. I know some of you are hesitant to switch to raw because you don't want to buy all this food and your dog not eat it. If your dog's a picky eater, there is a chance that it is just the kibble. For a lot of the dogs that I have switched over, whether it be raw, home cooked, or freeze dried, they made the switch and they are gobbling it down. And before they were grazers or very picky. So that is a way to get your dog to start eating more consistently or be a little less picky is just simply getting them off of the processed kibble. It's probably keeping them inflamed and keeping them uncomfortable. So they don't want to eat because they don't like how they feel when they're eating it. Another way to get your dog to eat the raw is to heat it up, to lightly cook. I personally do not do this with my raw food, but sometimes it is the coldness or the texture that dogs are kind of similar to humans and they have issues with that. Some animals just want the harder stuff. Some of them don't want it to be cold. There's no way of truly knowing that until you start experimenting, but doing a light cook that doesn't truly change the nutrient content, especially if it's very lightly cooked. So getting it nice and warm, that could be a way to get them to start eating. Simply switching the protein. Now, this may seem like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised. Some people, they're like, you should be eating this. Why aren't you eating it? Just switch the protein. My dog would throw up when we would try to give him buffalo and beef. I still to this day haven't given up. I still try and he eats around it. He knows he doesn't like it. He's not pleased with it. So we found what proteins work for him, and you're going to find what protein works for your dog, whether that's veal, whether that's rabbit or beef or pork, bison. There's a ton of different protein options out there, and I promise you one is going to work for your dog. Another little tidbit is feed your dog when they're hungry. I know this isn't the answer everyone wants to hear, but if they're not eating their food, take the food away. Especially if it's raw, you don't want it growing bacteria. So taking the food away and waiting till their next meal time for them to eat, trust me, they are animals. Eventually, they will eat. So taking the food away, eating once a day is actually better for your animal. My dog is on a 2 time a day, whining and crying until he gets his food. He is obsessed with it. So we have not yet transitioned to a 1 meal a day, but that is better for your dog anyway. So if you're so set on the breakfast and dinner situation and they're picking and not truly eating, I'm telling you, take one of the meals away. And by the time you get to the next meal, they will be hungry. Obviously not more than 24 hours, but give them some space to truly need the food and become hungry. Just stay patient and consistent. I'm telling you, getting off the kibble and switching your dog, they're going to love it. Even if they're picky, you're going to find something that works. If you want to figure out how to do this for your dog and switch your dog over to a more species appropriate diet, comment the word raw below and I'll show you how.